People were mocking me, they were laughing on the social media. How can you use bottles to irrigate? Now, 16 months afterwards, and everything we started has matured.
News Hour, weekdays at 8 p.m. on UBC Radio, inspiring Uganda.
Are you in need of a news package that is thorough and satisfying? A news package free of distortion? Then your uncertain moments are over. News Hour now brings you comprehensive news facts, updates, and analysis with all loose ends tied. News Hour, a production of Current Affairs section of UBC. Get it and digest it every weekday, 8 to 9 p.m. across all UBC radio networks.
Hello and welcome to yet another edition of News Hour. It is the 9th of March 2023. This is Alex Wandeva with my producer Henry Baguma. And coming up in this edition, Uganda Member of Parliament Asuman Vasalirwa has tabled the Anti-Homosexuality Bill 2023 to Parliament for further discussion.
The bill go to the committee, accord people public hearing, maximum. Let the public come and express their views, including the homos. Allow them to come.
Kampala Capital City Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago has castigated the law enforcement team for acting like a militia group.
And this group called RRU, it's a militia. RRU is a militia. We have a militia in our own yard here.
And the people affected by the ongoing crude oil pipeline project are urging relevant government agencies, including the judiciary, to speed up the compensation process.
Because that money which they give us could not even afford to buy land somewhere else, unless you squeeze yourself in other ways.
Those and many other stories in News Hour tonight, which begins with the latest UBC News by Spola.
Thank you, Alex. Good evening, listeners. We're glad you're joining us. I'm AJ Spoiler. These are the news headlines. The Anti-Homosexuality Bill 2023 has been presented before Parliament. National Building Review Board has halted construction of a permanent structure in the green open space in Masaka City. 6 people confirmed dead after a bus and a train collided in the Nigerian city of Lagos. And cars confiscated from drunk drivers in Latvia are being sent to Ukraine. Bujiri Municipality Member of Parliament Asuman Vasalirwa has presented the Anti-Homosexuality Bill 2023 before Parliament for the first reading. The bill has the overall objective includes establishing a comprehensive and enhanced legislation to protect the tradition of family through prohibiting sexual relations between persons of the same sex, strengthening the nation's capacity to deal with emerging threats to traditional family. It is aimed at protecting the cherished culture of Uganda and protecting children and youth who are vulnerable to sexual abuse. The bill also intends to prohibit marriage between persons of the same sex and penalize homosexual behavior and related practices. Homosexuals, landlords, booth proprietors, chief executives of pro-gay organizations and film directors face imprisonment or fines ranging from 5 million to 100 million shillings if the new anti-homosexuality bill is enacted in its current form. Persons who run booths for homosexuals risk 7 years imprisonment, while landlords who rent property to homosexuals face a year in jail. The bill, gazetted last Friday, seeks to criminalize homosexuality as well as its promotion and financing. The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, has forwarded the bill to the Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee for scrutiny. The judiciary has held a special sitting at its headquarters in Kampala to celebrate the life and services of fallen Court of Appeal Judge Kenneth Kakuru. Several justices of the Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, High Court magistrates, and High Court and Magistrates Court and other members of the legal fraternity took part in the ceremony that started with the Deputy Attorney General, Jackson Kafuzi, moving a motion to hold a special sitting which was conducted by a 5-member panel led by the Deputy Chief Justice, Richard Butera. During the session, several members of the judiciary eulogized Justice Kakuru, with many remembering him as a hard-working person, a man of his word, a daring and fearless individual who spoke his mind always, yet humane, humorous and loving. The Chief Justice, Alfonso Winyidolo, described Justice Kakuru as a hard-working and innovative man who committed himself to the service of the people through his work as a judicial officer. He said that Kakuru would even inject private finances in official work in an effort to fight case backlog in the judiciary. In his eulogy, Justice Benjamin Kabito, the chairman, Judicial Service Commission, described Justice Kakuru as a committed public servant who was incorruptible and just. He says that when Justice Kakuru sought for retirement in 2021 on grounds of ill health, he feared to continue receiving a salary, yet he was not productive anymore as expected. Justice Kabito revealed that Kakuru's other fear was to affect the dispensation of justice by the Court of Appeal due to his absentia or inability to deliver service due to ill health. The Deputy Chief Justice, Richard Butera, said Justice Kakuru exemplifies service above self. He facilitated with his money movement of files in the registry and developed a strategy for faster disposal of cases by the appellant court. The deceased daughter, Samantha Kakuru, who spoke on behalf of the family, says her father used the time when court was in recess to work to reduce the case backlog, writing judgments and doing other work that could expedite court cases. She says that her father worked even up to his deathbed, from where he asked her to write a judgment as he dictated. She said this was 2 weeks before his demise. The Chief Justice, Owinyidolo, used the occasion to urge all judicial officers in advanced age to always go for thorough health checkups so that any illnesses are detected at an early stage. Kasangati Territorial Police are investigating an attack at St. Edward College, Galamba in Gombe Division, Wakiso District. According to Luke Oyesijide, the Deputy Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesperson, unknown people attacked the college in the wee hours of the morning and killed the security guard, 29-year-old Christophe Nguyo, and seriously injured his colleague, 26-year-old Caesar Okwanga. Okwanga is currently hospitalized at Mulago National Specialized Hospital. Oyesijide says that police were informed immediately of the incident and they responded promptly. He said a rope with suspected bloodstains, a damaged bow and arrows were recovered from the scene, together with the deceased's phone. According to Oyesijide, police are yet to establish the motive of the attack. He said no arrests have been made yet, but the police have launched a full investigation to apprehend the culprits. He added that the deceased body is lying at the city mortuary pending a post-mortem. Nuclear energy experts are expected in Kampala next week as more countries in Africa plan to develop nuclear power plants. The African Nuclear Business Platform, hosted by the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, will provide a platform for players in nuclear energy to discuss the financing and viability of nuclear power plants to bridge the energy gap. According to the Energy Minister, Ruth Nankabirwa, Africa Nuclear Business Platform 2023, running from March 14th to the 17th, is expected to attract 300 players in Africa's nuclear energy market. Nankabirwa says the conference presents what she described as an excellent opportunity for Uganda particularly, and the African continent in general, to find suitable approaches to challenges in the nuclear industry. About 30 countries in Africa are currently considering nuclear power as part of their energy mix. Egypt, Ghana, Kenya, Morocco, Niger, Nigeria and Sudan have already engaged with the International Atomic Energy Agency to assess their readiness to embark on a nuclear program. Algeria, Tunisia, Uganda and Zambia are also moving ahead with the plans to set up nuclear power reactors. Uganda hopes to have the first 202,000 megawatt nuclear power plant running by the end of 2031. The National Building Review Board has halted the ongoing construction of a permanent structure in the green open space in Masaka City. The board, which is charged with ensuring standardization of construction works in the country, has instructed local businessman Dalaus Wamala to stop the works in the open green space along Broadway Road, Old Kumbe Estates in Masaka City. Wamala is accused of undertaking construction works that deviate from the approved plans by the building committee, hence causing substantial damage to the open green space measuring about 2 acres. In her letter, Engineer Flavia Wide, the executive secretary of the board, explains that Wamala secured permission to develop the open space for recreational purposes by erecting temporary structures, but he has changed the plan and started constructing a permanent structure. Engineer Wire indicates that the board received a complaint from the local authorities in Masaka City about ongoing construction works without the requisite permission. According to Engineer Wire, the board thoroughly considered the complaints by the City Council and responses from the developer and established that constructions were inconsistent with the national building regulations and the city's physical plans. Florence Namayanja, the Masaka City mayor, argues that although Wamala claims to be the rightful owner of the said land, his certificate sits on an open green space which the city cannot afford to lose. In our stories across the borders, 6 people have been confirmed dead after a bus and a train collided in the Nigerian city of Lagos. 71 people were injured, 29 of them critically. The accident happened during rush hour and both vehicles were carrying commuters. The coach was taking civil servants to work while the train was shuttling commuters from the outskirts of Lagos into the city. At the site of the crash, the wreckage has been cleared, but shards of glass and blood can still be seen. Cars confiscated from drunk drivers in Latvia are being sent to Ukraine under a new scheme designed to help the war effort there. 8 seized vehicles left a compound in the capital Riga on Wednesday and are due to cross the border soon. It is the first convoy to be sent under the plan approved by the Latvian parliament last month. MPs agreed to allow the transfer of state-owned cars to the Ukrainian military and hospitals. Late last year, Latvia changed the law so that drivers found with 1.5 milligrams of alcohol per 100 milliliters of blood, 3 times the legal limit, could have their vehicles seized and sold by the government. Latvia has among the worst rates of drinking and driving in Europe, according to the public broadcaster LSM, with an estimated 3,500 cases a year. The change in the law led to a surge in confiscations that filled state pounds in Latvia in a matter of weeks. Here is another quick recap of our news headlines. The Anti-Homosexuality Bill 2023 has been presented before Parliament. National Building Review Board has halted construction of a permanent structure in the green open space in Masaka City. 6 people confirmed dead after a bus and a train collided in the Nigerian city of Lagos, and cars confiscated from drunk drivers in Latvia are being sent to Ukraine. That's all the news we had time for from here at the News team. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for News Hour.
Thank you, Sepola, and we shall now take a break and return shortly with more stories in News Hour.